Hi, Mr. Thomas.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So nowadays, we have a lot of confusions on Day 1 CPT. I just want to know what exactly is Day 1 CPT.
So, curricular practical training (CPT) is a part of these studies where someone engages in a work while they are studying. So, in by rule, CPT is allowed after the first academic year, after taking the first two semesters. So there are a lot of attorneys or professionals who are saying that Day-1 CPT is illegal, which is not true when you generalize and say that the Day-1 CPT is illegal. CPT, there is an exception to the main rule which says that the CPT can be had after the first academic year. The exception to that rule is that if the immediate participation is required for the Day-1 CPT, then it is allowed. So generalizing and saying Day-1 CPT is illegal is not true actually, unless we go by case and see whether the course offered by the university, whether the immediate participation is a requirement for that specific course.
And what does August 9th memo state about Day 1 CPT?
So to understand about August 9th memo, which is actually the unlawful, what generally known as the unlawful presence memo for F and M students. In earlier days, there has to be a finding by the court or by the USCIS to decide whether a person is unlawfully present in this country. But after the August 9th memo, it completely changed the dynamics. And now, if a person is violating the status, let's say from January of 2018, and the finding comes back in December of 2018, he is assumed to be unlawfully present from the day one he has violated the status. There is no need to have a finding by the USCIS or by the courts to find someone to be unlawfully present. So USCIS is considering a person unlawfully present from the day that memo has been issued if that person is violating the status. So that's what the August 9th memo says. And if somebody is unlawfully present in this country for 180 days, then he has a 3-year bar to come back to this country. If it is more than 180 days, there is a 10-year bar. So calculating 180 days from August 9th, it's February 4th is the day when 180 days is over. That is where the general talk is that people who are on CPT, who are violating the CPT status, they are out of status or they have a bar from February 4th.
So does that mean Day 1 CPT as per August 9th memo is like unlawful presence?
There is nowhere it says on the memo that CPT or Day-1 CPT is illegal. Like I said before, Day-1 CPT as such is not illegal. I'll come more to that. But the memo doesn't talk about any specific case scenario where it says that the student is out of status. There are various ways that a student can go out of status and be unlawfully present in this country. And Day-1 CPT, if the university is not authorized to issue a Day-1 CPT and the student has availed of such an CPT program, then he might be unlawfully present and might have a bar based on the memo.
So what would be the maximum time which a student can avail his CPT?
There is no specific time that a person can take CPT. So, like I said, the basic rule is that you can avail CPT after the first academic year. But if an immediate participation is required, he can have a Day-1 CPT from the day one. So from that day till the course is over, he can have a CPT. But if he is taking a full-time CPT and if he has availed 365 days of CPT, then he cannot have an OPT. So many of the universities shortened the full-time CPTs to less than 1 year for that, so that the students can avail the OPT program.
There are only few such universities who are providing Day 1 CPT. That means, are there any specific requirements for the university to give a student a CPT?
So many of these courses which offer CPT does not require the immediate participation. Means after the first academic year, they can avail the CPT. But there are certain universities and certain courses which requires the immediate participation in a CPT to get eventually graduate the program. So only those universities or those programs can issue the CPT. That's why many of the universities, they cannot issue Day-1 CPT. Or some universities are still issuing Day-1 CPT, but then it is not legal. That is where the problem will come up.
And what is the role of SEVIS and USCIS in this Day-1 CPT?
So, SVVP, which is a Student Exchange Visitor Program, is the one which certifies the universities and grant its authority to issue I-20s for CPTs and OPTs. And SEVIS, that is the system which they use, Student Exchange Visitor Information System, wherein they track these students. So this is administered by the ICE and not USCIS. USCIS roles comes only when these students file H1, the CPT students. And when H1s are filed, then what the USCIS looks is they give a query or what you call the RFE, request for further documentation, and they ask, prove us, show us more documents that you had maintained the CPT status, your CPT or the F1 status, and the CPT was legal, which you have taken. And at that point, the USCIS will determine that the student did not maintain status because either he did not attend the classes or he took CPT, which was not an immediate participation, was not required. It was not an integral part of the core curriculum. It is at that point that they make a decision and deny the request to change the status of the student from F1 to H1. And that's where USCIS comes into play. Otherwise, it's the ICE that monitors or administers the SEVIS and this SVVP program.
Students are in a confusion state because they already have taken Day-1 CPT. So, do you suggest is it legal to take Day-1 CPT?
So again, like I said before, Day-1 CPT is not illegal. Whether that immediate participation in the CPT program to get the Day-1 CPT, is it an integral part of the course? Where do we find that? Check with the university, ask them whether immediate participation is required. Or look at the course catalog. Does it say that the immediate participation is required? If it is, and if the university is willing to give a letter saying that immediate participation is required, the course catalog says that immediate participation is required, the cooperative agreement between the university and the student and the employer says so, then you can prove that the Day-1 CPT is legal and you can prove USCIS that you have availed a legal CPT program.
Okay. As most of the attorneys were claiming that students who are on CPT should leave the country by Feb 4th or 5th. Is that true? If students who are still here, what is the status now?
We cannot generalize and say, tell these students that Day-1 CPT is illegal and you have to leave. That is very wrong, and many attorneys, many practitioners have done that. They have said that Day-1 CPT is illegal, so all the students have to go. February 4th, they have become unlawfully present, and they have 3-year